All right, so you've watched 2 episodes of Jerry, and this is new to you. You didn't live this life.
I mean, obviously, had some
At
knowledge
27
of it.
years old,
Right.
you didn't live this.
This, I was not around. I was not kicking around yet. The parents were just starting to meet up at this point, right?
And it's good.
It's great.
All right.
No, it is. I think people have talked about it. I still got 6 episodes to get through, but I was locked on the screen the whole time. Jerry knows what he's doing. They got George W. Bush in this thing.
Yeah.
And everybody else, right? From Michael Irvin, who's a great story, to Emmitt Smith, and we're just getting into Troy Aikman in those early 90s years. But, yeah, I mean, the country bumpkin, he hated being called that, the man from Arkansas. It just... fantastic. We could talk more about it, but yes, I'm glued in. I can't wait to watch more
If you're watching, let us
episodes.
know. 512-834-1027. 15 days to the regular season opener, Cowboys-Eagles. By the way, one note, how frothing are people for Longhorn football, but also the NFL?
Yeah.
You know, the game Sunday night, Fox NFL Sunday, we had a Monday Night Football game and a Fox NFL Sunday night game. That Bears-Buffalo game that ended up 38-0, it was never competitive. Fox announced yesterday that 5.1 million viewers watched the contest.
I believe
Their
it.
most watched preseason game in 5 years. That was COVID 5 years ago.
A lot of people want to know what's going on in
Josh
Chicago.
Allen and the Bill starters didn't even play.
Right. It was more about Caleb Williams and this Ben Johnson
about
offense.
NFL,
Well,
man.
just, yeah. It's
It's all about
for
the
football.
NFL.
You're right.
5 million plus for that game, which was
Sure.
unwatchable. Crazy. So week 3, NFL preseason, 15 days to the Eagles game. Cowboys will play the Falcons on Friday night. There is some good news surrounding that. We'll tell you in a second. The Texans will wrap up with the Detroit Lions, and they're joint practicing with the Lions. But as for the game in 15 days, according to all the NFL insiders reporting that all is quiet on the Micah Parsons front, the contract stalemate, nothing new to report. But as a matter of fact, Adam Schefter went on the Pat McAfee show, and Adam Schefter is reporting now, and it could be pot stirring, that he's hearing that things are getting worse. They're deteriorating between Jerry Jones, the Cowboys, and their best player.
You can't get a deal done if you're not even talking. And the two sides haven't had any negotiations since late March or early April. And it sounds like at this point it's personal. It sounds like each side is dug in. The Cowboys have come out and said what they said publicly at the start of training camp, which Micah didn't like. Micah came out and asked to be traded, said he was ready to move on from Dallas, which I'm sure they didn't like. And right now, both sides seem to be angry. Now, have other people put those feelings aside in the past and figured out a way to work out a deal? Yeah. I don't see that happening here. I see these two sides headed towards a divorce in time. The only question is, when is that divorce going to happen, and how is it going to happen? Are they going to trade him now? Are they going to trade him after this year? Are they going to move on when? But it certainly doesn't feel like these two sides want to enter a long-term relationship together. That's the way it feels today, and we'll see if they do anything to change that before the regular season begins in a couple of weeks.
All right, Adam Schefter, that's the latest. Now, it takes me to a piece of audio from the show. You've already seen 2 episodes. I don't know if you've seen this part, but, you know, the question for Jerry Jones has always been, and I've always posed, I'll walk to Dallas if the Cowboys win a Super Bowl with Jerry Jones as the general manager. Why won't he hire a general manager? Why won't he bring in a director of football operations that's not him? We know Stephen Jones and Will McClay have taken more control over time, but he is still the listed general manager. And listen to this from the Netflix series America's Team on that topic, the gambler and his Cowboys.
I'm often asked the question, why don't I hire a general manager? I've had people that said, Jerry, you subject yourself to so much criticism. You need a buffer. I don't like it like that. I like the pain.
I like the pain, which, again, Jerry...
he does.
Let me just say this for all you fans, and he likes the pain. He doesn't care about you. It has nothing to do with the pain. His being the general manager causes you and the team and the locker room and the coaches. It's about Jerry, because his being the general manager impacts the roster. It impacts these holdouts. It impacts the coach. It impacts the first-year coach this year, but every year. It impacts the players who are disgruntled, and it certainly impacts the fans. But Jerry clearly does not care.
No,
because it is about him, and he likes the pain.
He likes the pain. He likes you to suffer if you're a fan.
Yeah, I mean you can't say it anymore point blank.
Well, he said it first episode when people zig, I zag, and that was part of the Herschel Walker trade, which actually did benefit them. That turned into 5 draft
100%.
picks. But we don't have GMs like that, unlike Jerry Jones.
Well, the league's gotten
that'll
smarter.
do that. Exactly. The league's gotten smarter.
And I always say this: everything that the Cowboys did to build one of the greatest teams of all time, that could have won 5 Super Bowls in a row potentially if they left it alone, was done pre-salary cap, pre-free agency,
right?
And with Jimmy Johnson's keen eye for talent and the Herschel Walker trade. But everything changed in the mid-'90s with the salary cap, with free agency, and the league's gotten smarter. There are great general managers all over the NFL, and Jerry was not a good one in 1998 when he took 1995 when he took control of it. So either way, that's been a story beaten to death. But there's Jerry Jones saying it. I like the pain. Don't care about you, my team, my roster, my coaches. I like it.
You get more of an insight of who Jerry is. It's great. I mean, there is no filter. I mean, no filter.
No doubt.
He would be. I had a few drinks, and then 3 o'clock hit in the morning. I heard
Walker read.
Right. In that Johnny Walker, I heard the crickets, heard the first bird, and then the day started. And that legit why he was getting sick, because he couldn't sleep.
Because he drank all night.
He drank all night, and then he was up.
And he's the general manager. That's probably not good. Okay, there is the good news coming out of the Metroplex. Word yesterday that rookie running back Jaydon Blue, who's been battling a slight ankle tweak, is going to play. He's been cleared by the medical staff.
Huge.
He will make his Cowboys debut in the preseason Friday night against Atlanta. So be advised of that. Jaydon Blue going to play. He and Javonte Williams right now seen as
Miles Sanders as well.
Oh, Miles a bum. You saw him last week against the Ravens.
Oh, come on.
Well, was he a bum in Philadelphia?
Miles Sanders, yes.
Was he a bum in Carolina?
Carolina's kind of where he lost his
bum.
steam. Yeah, last year specifically.
He's a bum.
He's a jag.
What do you think of him?
He's a jag.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But Javonte Williams could be something they think. They're coming back from Denver where he had injuries, but would look like a good player at times. And Jaydon Blue. Those are your best 2 running backs right
Phil
now.
Maffa.
Speaking of former Longhorns, we'll get to the Texans in a minute here in our A block. But Isaiah Bond.
Yeah.
Through his, of course, he played with Jaydon Blue last year. He's through his off-field legal issues that led to him going undrafted last April. He is now a Cleveland Brown, the home for wayward boys in Cleveland. He spoke to the media yesterday for the first time, and this is a pretty prepared statement. But
yes, it is.
But Isaiah Bond, went to the podium. You got to do it, right? You got to do it. You're now a Cleveland Brown.
How many times did he practice this in the mirror?
Yeah, you got to do it.
Very excited to be a Cleveland Brown. I've been playing football since 6th, and I know it's a great privilege to play in the NFL, and I'm very, very grateful for that. I know there's going to be questions about the allegations, but my agent and my attorney have advised me not to go into detail. Since day one, I proclaimed my innocence, and I stand here today in that same way. I'm very excited to get to know my teammates and show the Cleveland Brown community why they made the right decision.
All right, there you go, man.
It's like they got cue cards for him doing that. No, I'm rooting for the guy, of course, but it just was so.
No, he had note cards for that.
Exactly.
He was behind that deal before he went on stage.
Exactly.
Like you did for a speech when you were in the 10th grade. So there's Isaiah Bond. Good for him. They did give him some pretty good money. They paid him a contract that's commensurate of someone who's been a 3rd-round pick because his agent.
That's where.
And that's why, because he was a bidding war for Isaiah Bond once he went undrafted, once the legal issues were cleared.
Very talented.
He still could face a league suspension from the NFL based on the evidence and whatnot, but who knows? And the Browns are looking for as much cheap talent as they can get with the Deshaun Watson contract that's lingering for them. That's why Joe Flacco is their quarterback right now. Okay, in Houston, Texans general manager Nick Caserio joined that team's flagship radio station yesterday to provide an update. Texans fans want to know about Joe Mixon. Yep. Fantasy football owners want to know about Joe Mixon. They're starting running back from last year who's been battling a nagging ankle injury. Here is Caserio on the latest.
Where are we at with Joe Mixon? Is there any clarity on that?
Yeah, no change. I mean, Joe's kind of, working through it. He's still on the NFI list or PUP, whatever list that he's on. So kind of take it one day at a time. And, once we get a little bit closer, probably have a little better idea where he's going to be. But Joe's working hard, trying to get himself back ready to go. So whenever that is, we'll take it as it comes.
Take it as it comes. So I would remind Texans fans that he did this last year. It was a quad injury. He didn't participate at all in camp. And then had a monster game 1 against the Colts, where I'd rush for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. So Texans fans, and I'm sure, D'Amico Ryans are hopeful that that's the case. If he is unable to go against the Rams in week 1, Houston would turn to Nick Chubb, Dameon Pierce, and the rookie from USC, Woody Marks, would be your top running backs for Houston. Let's hear from Nick Caley. Nick Caley's the new general manager. He was asked about what he's seen from Nick Chubb as Nick gets to know Nick.
Yeah, he's as consistent of a human being in terms of his approach And I feel like he's continuing to get better and better and better. And we only had him for a short time in the spring. We got him here in training camp, and he's continued to grow every single day that he's been out here. He's a really patient runner, has a good feel for pressing landmarks and tracks, and he's just got a really good instinct about running the football.
I think Nick Chubb gives them 5 carries, 25 yards last week. He showed burst. He showed that patience. Offensive line's getting a push. He can hold the fort along with Woody Marks until Joe Mixon's back, and then you would have the two-headed monster potentially. I wouldn't panic. And if you are an NFL fantasy football guy, maybe grab Nick Chubb late in the draft just to have him until Joe Mixon comes back.
Yeah, handcuff him, right? Exactly. And I just have to say this about the Texans. That running back room is significantly better than it was last year now because of those additions. I like Woody Marks a lot, Mississippi State originally, then he went to USC.
They see him more as a third down back right now, as a guy out of the backfield, kind of like Jaydon Blue.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he could be a factor.
But, like, we're talking about this with Nick Chubb. I know he's dealt with some injury, but that was one of the best running backs a couple years ago in the NFL, period. Like, legitimately one of the top NFL running backs ever.
Well, and again, why did Cleveland make him available? Because they're going cheap.
They have to go cheap.
They drafted
they have no other option.
They drafted 2 running backs.
Right.
They drafted Quinshon Judkins, and they drafted another running back, Dylan Sampson.
Yes.
So they've got 2 backs. They drafted 2 quarterbacks. Because, that Deshaun Watson contract, they have to have as much cheap young labor as possible.
That's why Isaiah Bond is a big get for them.
Well, that's why they have 3 young quarterbacks and a very affordable, cheap Joe Flacco. That's what they can afford right now.
Snoop Huntley.
Right. And because they're paying Myles Garrett. We'll talk about that coming up, the veteran quarterback situation, Daniel Jones in Indianapolis. But real quick, Houston does play the Rams to start the regular season. There was an update yesterday on a big story there because Matthew Stafford has practiced back-to-back days. About an hour of throwing with that back issue. Sean McVay provided an update.
I thought he looked good. I thought he looked better than yesterday. I thought it was a step in the right direction, and we're going to continue to hope that he's able to stack days and feel good, and that's what's happened so far. And I thought there was some good rushes that we had where we had to move and manipulate the pocket, activated all parts of the field, and so I think yesterday it was good for him to be able to get a feel. I don't know, I think it was good for him to be able to go through the whole practice.
Okay, it kind of looks like Matthew Stafford's out there. I don't want to say he looks like a 37-year-old with a tight back. He doesn't look loose. You can say what you want, and maybe it's reacted like they want, but he kind of walks around at times like he's got to go to the bathroom, if you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's like,
I know. The back, it takes a long time to heal, man. You can only speed that up so much, right? The back is a thing.
Well, he hadn't gotten hit yet.
Right.
Houston's going to try to hit him with Will Anderson.
15 days away, 18 days away from Sunday, right?
Yeah,
right? Isn't that right? 18, 19?
It's 2 weeks from tomorrow is Cowboys-Eagles. 3 days later is Houston and the Rams and the rest of NFL Week 1. That'll be Week 2
Not
of the
good
college
for the
football
Rams
season.
over win total I have.